You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. The AL West has been tight in the entire month of April, and this matchup explains that. The last place team, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, are 9-11, facing the Houston Astros, who are 11-9 in first place. And here is the temporary ace of the Astros, Zack Greinke, taking the mound. And I say temporary because Justin Verlander is still on the injured list, recovering from groin surgery that he had back in March. Greinke 1-1 in his decisions and has a 5.25 ERA. Tommy La Stella to lead off for the Angels. And he fouls the first pitch off, strike one. La Stella played some third base with the Angels. He, Taylor Ward, and David Fletcher would all be second baseman and third baseman platooning, but now with Anthony Rendon playing third base, he's played more of second and platooned at second with Ward and with Fletcher. On two pitches, he grounds out into the shift. And we'll take a look at the Angels starting lineup now, and almost the same lineup. Actually, it is the exact same lineup that it was when these two played each other the first time around here in Houston. This was one of our features back in March. The Astros won that series. It was a four-game series between these two. Now, these two are in the middle of a three-game series. Actually, not in the middle. This is game three of a three-game series, and this is the rubber match. The Astros won game one, and the Angels won game two. And here's somebody who had a hand in the Angels' 5-4 win yesterday, Mike Trout. Trout had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs in the Angels' win yesterday. 1-1 pitch coming from Zack Greinke. Swing and a miss. Counts 1-2. And again, this AL West division is tight, and after the Mike Trout plate appearance, we'll go over the standings. Strike three, Maldonado dropped the ball, so he'll have to complete the strikeout by throwing to Gurriel. And Greinke's first strikeout is of Mike Trout. Now with 2 outs, here's Anthony Rendon. First pitch from Greinke. That's a strike. But the AL West so far this year has the Astros in first place with an 11-9 record, the Athletics in second with an 11-11 record, the Rangers with a 10-11 record in third place, the Mariners with a 10-12 record in fourth place, and the Angels are 9-11, also tied for that fourth and last place spot. So I mean, this is a tight division. Rendon hits that one wall to left field. Back to the wall goes Brantley. He runs out of room, and that's gone. Anthony Rendon gets scoring started early. He has just hit a solo home run off Zack Greinke, and it's 1-0 Angels. Quite a start for Los Angeles. A fastball right over the middle of the plate. Rendon typically doesn't miss those. And Rendon especially hit well here in the World Series in 2019. That was last season. Had some big home runs in that series, and hits another one here. He seems to like to hit here. And now Justin Upton will bat. 2 outs, bases empty, and a run in. Upton on the year, 208 average with 8 home runs and 11 RBIs out of the cleanup spot for the Angels. Nothing in 1 pitch. Swing, and that fouled off. Greinke ahead in the count now, no balls and 2 strikes. Justin Upton, 4 home runs he's hit over his last 5 games played. And you mentioned the 5 games. He did not homer in yesterday's game when the Angels won, but he did hit a home run in the Angels' 9-8 loss against the Astros in Game 1 of this series on Friday. 1-2 pitch from Greinke. Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts for Greinke in that half inning, but Anthony Rendon, not Justin Upton, hit this solo home run with 2 outs and made it 1-0 Angels going to the bottom of the first inning. And here comes a two-way sensation in Shohei Ohtani. Having a rough start to the year on the mound. In 4 starts, he has a 1-2 record and a 5.85 ERA. Struggling for his standards and hype up. But he takes the start here in the rubber match. Game 3 of this series between these two AL West teams. Here's George Springer to lead off. Like we talked about before, the Angels are 9-11. Tied for 4th place, tied for last place, but technically in 5th because they have a 9-11 record. They're 2 games back. The Mariners are 10-12, also 2 games back in the division, though, but of course that doesn't matter at this point. Just because these two haven't played the same amount of games. 1-1 pitch. Hit foul. Count now 1-2 on George Springer. World Series most valuable player in 2017. Was a part of that Astros World Series championship in 2017. Of course, that's been under a lot of scrutiny since the offseason. The Astros have been a hot topic in baseball in the months of January, February, and March. Springer strikes out there against Shohei Ohtani. That's out number 1.
The second baseman, Jose Altuve.
And that'll bring up Jose Altuve. Starting off the year well, batting .284. Takes ball 1.
Ball 1, no strike.
.284 average, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. Was the championship series MVP last season when he hit the walk-off home run off of Aroldis Chapman in Game 6.
1-1.
Also a 2017 Most Valuable Player Award winner. Altuve performed very well in the series the first time these two played here at Minute Maid Park. Played well by La Stella, but he can't get his feet set in enough time. Altuve beats that one out. And it's a 1-out single for Altuve.
The left fielder, Michael Brantley.
That'll bring up Michael Brantley. Number 3 hitter for the Astros. In year 2 of his contract that he signed in the 2018-19 offseason, former All-Star with the Cleveland Indians. And Ohtani hitting 99 miles per hour on the gun with that last pitch. Brantley yesterday went 4 for 4 with a walk. He was on base all 5 times that he came to the plate. This first at bat, he flies out to Mike Trout. Altuve goes back to first, and that's out number 2. They're in the bottom of the first, and we'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Houston Astros. Mostly the same pieces that they've had for the past couple years now. Maldonado, their backbone behind the plate, not known for his hitting as much as his defensive catching abilities, and that's why he's in the lineup especially. Also, Yordan Alvarez batting 6th. Guy who came up mid-season last year, made his debut, and set the baseball world on fire. Did well enough to earn himself Rookie of the Year in the American League in 2019. Again, he's batting 6th, but here's another success story in the Astros farm system production. Alex Bregman, batting .329 to start the year. 2-0 pitch. That finds the zone. Counts 2-1. Bregman on the season so far is batting .329 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs. And hits that pitch well towards center field. Back goes Mike Trout. And he has a play, and he makes the play. And that ends the inning. Astros, no runs on a hit, and 1 runner left on base, moving to the second inning. It's the Angels 1 and the Astros 0. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. The Angels have 5, 6, 7 hitters due up to begin the second inning. It's Albert Pujols, Matt Thaiss, and then Brian Goodwin. Zach Greinke on the mound. Greinke gave up a run in that first inning. A solo home run was hit by Anthony Rendon. 1-1 count on Pujols. Greinke has had a shaky start to 2020. His ERA is north of 5. And he has a 1-1 record. Ohtani's record is 1. They're both struggling to start 2020, and Greinke's ERA will not be helped by the Rendon home run. Fouled off there. Albert Pujols at the plate. Former St. Louis Cardinal, and he signed a large deal in 2012, and we're nearing the end of that deal. As it is now 2020, Pujols entering his 9th season with the Angels. 2-2 pitch from Greinke. That hit well to left field. Brantley goes back to the wall, and he makes the catch. Read that well, makes the catch, 1 out. And here's the starting defense for the Astros. Brantley in left, Springer in center, Tucker in right field, Josh Reddick on the bench. Then for the infield, you have Bregman at third, Correa at shortstop, Altuve at second base, and Gurriel at first. And then Martin Maldonado, the starting catcher, being pitched to by Zach Greinke. 1 out. Here's Matt Thaiss. Thaiss, a designated hitter, primarily a first baseman. He could also be classified as the Angels' emergency third baseman. 1-0 pitch coming from Greinke. Can't find the zone, counts 2-0. That can't find the zone either. The count's 3-0. Thaiss yesterday went 1 for 4 in the Angels' win. And that can't find the zone either. A 4-pitch walk of Matt Thaiss puts a runner on base with 1 out.
Batting 7, the right fielder, number 18, Brian Goodwin.
And so here's Brian Goodwin, 1 out, top of the second inning, runner on first. Goodwin batting .275 with 4 home runs and 7 RBIs. Goodwin has been the starting right fielder all season. And the initial plan for Shohei Ohtani to play right field and pitch consistently has not worked out because of all of the injuries Ohtani's had on his arm. So Goodwin, who's naturally a center fielder, plays right field, and if you don't know why that's an obvious move, Mike Trout is the center fielder of the Angels. But Ohtani is limited now to pitching under normal circumstances, so every 4 to 5 days he pitches in the rotation, and he's limited on offense to designated hitter duties. 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Greinke now has 3 strikeouts, and there are now 2 outs in the top of the second inning.
Anderson, Simmons.
And that'll bring up a Gold Glove shortstop in the past, both in the National League with the Braves and in the American League with the Angels. It's Andrelton Simmons. Takes ball one. Simmons yet to leave the yard this season, but a respectable .264 average. Has 5 runs batted in, and he's on a hitting streak. Takes ball 2 inside. Simmons is in the middle of a 7-game hitting streak. 2-0 pitch. Chopped foul, counts 2-1. Simmons won 2 Gold Glove awards with the Braves and has won 2 Gold Gloves here with the Angels. He's been with the Angels ever since 2016. 3-1 pitch coming from Greinke. 2 outs. Matt Thaiss on first base. And now the count full. Thaiss walked with 1 out in this half inning. And he runs on the pitch. 3-2, 2 outs. And he'll have to retreat. That ball fouled off. Greinke at 35 pitches now through 1 2/3 innings pitched. Thaiss will be running again. There he goes. And Simmons up the middle off Greinke's leg. Bregman has a play. Throws over to Gurriel. And out at first is Andrelton Simmons. Greinke seems to be okay. And that's how the top of the second ends. No runs on no hits, 1 walk in the inning. And 1 runner left on for the Angels. On to the bottom of the second. It's the Angels 1 and the Astros 0. Here's Yuli Gurriel coming to the plate for the Astros. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Stros. Yuli Gurriel, Yordan Alvarez, and Carlos Correa. Gurriel been the first baseman of the Astros for a few years now. And he fouls that breaking ball off, strike 1. Gurriel in the series, or I should correct myself, yesterday he went 1 for 4. Struck out the 3 times, though, that he didn't get a hit. Counts even at 1. Gurriel in the season has 8 hits in 69 at-bats. Has 4 RBIs and no home runs yet this season. He started off on a rather cold foot, so to speak. Counted in his favor now, 3-1. The Astros expecting more production out of him and hoping that he heats up. He takes ball 4 there. And he's on base to lead off the bottom of the second inning. And there's Joe Madden, the new manager of the Angels. Former manager of the Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago Cubs. Led the Cubs to a World Series win. Also led the Rays in 2008 to a World Series appearance where they lost to the Phillies. But this season hasn't started out too poorly for the Angels. They're keeping pace in the AL West. And every team right now is close and fighting hard. Strike 1 on Yordan Alvarez. Alvarez, reigning Rookie of the Year in the American League. Starting off this year rather cold, however. At least for the standards and hype that he's been put up to. Alvarez is batting .219 with 3 home runs and 16 RBIs. So the average isn't too high, but his run production isn't all that bad. 1-1 pitch. Hit 1 to left center field. That's going to split the gap. That's going toward the wall. And that's going to leave the ballpark. Yordan Alvarez, a 2-run home run off Shohei Ohtani. And the Astros have taken the lead. It's 2-1. Fourth home run of the season for Alvarez. Well, I mean, that's part of why he's so dangerous as well. This was an outside pitch, and Alvarez, a talented hitter enough to not try to pull that pitch or try to create too much torque on the ball. He stayed with that pitch, got a good piece of the barrel on the ball, sent it the other way, and sent it over the wall. Here's Carlos Correa. So again, you have two established names in Ohtani and in Greinke, and each have struggled, at least from a statistical standpoint on the season, but they're both struggling here early. Greinke gave up a solo home run to Anthony Rendon in the top of the first inning, and Yordan Alvarez, following a walk to Yoli Gurriel, hit a two-run home run. Ohtani gets the strikeout there of Carlos Correa. That's his second strikeout. First out of the bottom of the second inning.
The catcher, Martin Maldonado.
Martin Maldonado coming to the plate. Batting eighth, only in front of Kyle Tucker toward the bottom of the order. Maldonado definitely more known for his defense, although he's on a bit of a hot stretch now on a 4-game hitting streak, and even 200 average with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. 1-0 pitch. Counts 2-0. And the Astros lost yesterday. Maldonado went 1 for 4. This is the rubber match of a 3-game series. The Astros won Game 1 on Friday, and yesterday the Angels won. Each game was won by 1 run. And Ohtani has now led on his third base runner, that one via the hit by pitch. So Ohtani walked Yoli Gurriel to lead off this half inning, and then Yordan Alvarez hit a 2-run home run. Carlos Correa struck out. Martin Maldonado just got hit by a pitch. Now here's Kyle Tucker at the bottom of the Astros order.
Nope. Ball 1.
Kyle Tucker, first-round draft pick of the Astros in 2015, made his debut in 2017, though he wasn't instrumental in the World Series run. But he's been a top prospect of the Astros ever since he's been in their farm system. Now playing right field consistently against right-handed pitching. Josh Reddick has been reduced to a platoon role, and he's on the bench in this game, and he's been on the bench for the better part of this 2020 season so far. So Kyle Tucker faces right-handed pitching, and Miles Straw, a right-handed hitter, starts against left-handed pitchers typically. And Ohtani has issued his second walk and now has let 4 runners on base in this half inning, and Mickey Callaway is going to come out and have a chat with him. The Angels started the offensive party early, but are now struggling at the hands of Shohei Ohtani. Martin Maldonado on second base. He was hit by a pitch. Kyle Tucker on first. He just walked. 2 runs in on a Yordan Alvarez home run, and now the Astros at the top of the order coming up, and both runners go as that pitch is fouled off by George Springer. Always a daring move by teams. The double steal was enacted there. Runner stay put this time, and quickly 0-2 on Springer. Springer 0 for 1. And here's the 0-2 pitch. That can't find the zone. Counts 1-2. Springer on the season entering play. It was batting .290 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. Known as one of the better leadoff hitters in all of baseball. Here's the 1-2 pitch. On the ground left side, that's foul. Count still 1-2. Springer started his career primarily more of a right fielder, but has been playing center field a lot more in recent years. Counts even 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shohei Ohtani coming along 40 pitches now. Pujols makes that play to Simmons for 1 and back to Pujols. Double play. George Springer grounds into a double play that ends the second inning. However, Yordan Alvarez hit this 2-run home run, and that gave the Astros the lead. It's 2-1 going into the third inning. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 9-1-2 hitters scheduled to bat for the Angels. Jason Castro, then Tommy La Stella, and Mike Trout. Swing and a miss. Castro chased that pitch. Counts 0-1. Castro used to play for this Astros team. He was their catcher.
1 ball, 1 strike.
And the Astros was the team he started his major league career with. Also was an all-star with the Astros in 2013. Played for the Minnesota Twins from 2016 to 2019. And signed a deal in the offseason with the Angels. Strikes out there against Zach Greinke. Greinke now with 4 strikeouts. That's out number 1.
The batter, number 9. Second baseman, Tommy.
So 1 blemish so far on Greinke through what now is 2 1/3 innings pitched. Give up 1 run on that 1 hit to Anthony Rendon. And he walked Matt Thaiss. Only 2 base runners that have reached on him so far. Here's Tommy La Stella. La Stella grounded out to the shortstop Correa up the middle. Back in the first inning. He's being shifted here again. The infield exaggerated toward the right. La Stella now a .328 hitter. Quality bat at the top of this lineup for the Angels. Ball's behind in this at bat. 1-2 is the count. Greinke gets the sign from Maldonado. Here's the pitch. Against the shift, but caught on a line drive by Alex Bregman.
The center fielder, number 27.
2 outs, top of the third.
Wow.
Well, if that had been slightly more to the left, La Stella would have beaten the shift. Unfortunately for the Angels, that did not happen, and Bregman was there to make the play. Now with 2 outs, here's Mike Trout. Strike 1. 91 miles per hour. Mike Trout won several awards in 2019. A Hank Aaron Award winner. Won a Silver Slugger for outfielders and was the 2019 Most Valuable Player in the American League. Pops out there in that at bat. Martin Maldonado makes the play. Trout now 0 for 2 in this game. And that play ends the inning. No runs on no hits and nobody left on for the Angels. Moving to the bottom of the third, it's Houston 2 and LA 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. The Astros lead the Angels 2-1, and so far home runs have been tallying the RBIs in this game. Altuve 1 for 1. He singled in the bottom of the first inning. And gets ahead in the count here. 2 balls, no strikes. The Angels got a run. Anthony Rendon hit a solo home run in the top of the first inning. In the bottom of the second, Yordan Alvarez hit a 2-run home run. Now 3-0 on Jose Altuve, and despite Ohtani throwing in the high 90s, he's been struggling so far in this game, and it's still early. 99 finds the zone, counts 3-1. Ohtani at 41 pitches now through 2+ innings pitched. Had a couple walks, hit batter, and he gave up a home run last inning. 3-1 to Altuve. Hit one to left field. Upton has a play, and he makes it. That's out number one, bottom of the third inning.
The left fielder, number 23, Michael Brantley.
That'll bring up Michael Brantley, left fielder of the Astros. 0 for 1, he flew out back in the first inning. That one right over the heart of the plate, counts 0-1. Swing and a miss, counts 0-2. This is the third game of a three-game series that started on Friday, and this is the rubber match. The Astros won game one, 9-8. The Angels won game two yesterday, 5-4. Check swing appeal is unsuccessful for the Angels. Counts 1-2 on Brantley. Here's the pitch. Ripped down the right field line, and that's going to be a fair ball. Goodwin running after it. Brantley on his way to second. Goodwin will throw into the cutoff man, LaStella. And that's a one-out double for Michael Brantley. He's in scoring position now for the middle of the Astros order. Here's Alex Bregman. Cleanup hitter 0 for 1 against Ohtani. And that misses inside. Bregman is naturally a shortstop, but stop for the Astros, and Bregman can't come along. He had to move over to third base, and that pitch is hit a long way. That's the third home run amongst these two teams, second for the Astros. And it's now 4-1. The Astros lead the Angels in inning 3, and Ohtani continuing to struggle. I'm almost stunned at how far that ball was hit. Yeah, that was right over the heart of the plate. Doesn't matter how hard you throw. If a hitter can time up a pitch, ball's going to be hit a long way. Yeah, look at that. Up against the wall out there in left field. 4-1, Astros lead it. Bottom of the third inning, one out. Here's Shohei Ohtani's pitch to Yulieski Gurriel, and it's a strike. Gurriel reached base in the second inning and ended up scoring on the Yordan Alvarez home run. The Astros have homered and scored in back-to-back innings now off Ohtani, and Gurriel has himself a hit. Goodwin throws it in to LaStella, and that's a one-out single for Yuli Gurriel.
Designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez.
Yordan Alvarez coming to the plate now with one out, and Gurriel on first base. Alvarez homered off Ohtani in his first at-bat and takes ball one there. Ohtani working himself into some trouble. Four earned runs on his score line so far, and he's not out of the third yet. Hitters count now on Alvarez. 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0 count. Carlos Correa on deck. Astros 2 runs in this inning. Michael Brantley hit a double, and then that was followed by an Alex Bregman home run. 3-0. Too high, that's ball 4. Ohtani continuing to struggle early in this game. Gurriel moves to second base. Alvarez on first. Matt Andres is now in the bullpen for the Angels, and here's Carlos Correa. One out, runners on first and second base. Fouled off, counts 0-1. Correa went 1 for 4 yesterday, and his lone hit was a solo home run. That was in the Astros' losing effort. 0-1 pitch. Inside, that's a ball. Ohtani has had trouble finding the corners and edges of the zone. He's either missed, obviously, or he's left pitches right over the heart of the plate. And that's not a recipe for success for pitchers. That formula for him has resulted in a frequent amount of walks and a couple home runs that burned him. Correa was out in front of that fastball, and the count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch coming to the Astros shortstop. Strike 3 called. That was a well-placed pitch. Correa down on strikes. Ohtani now with 3 in this outing. 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Martin Maldonado batting here with 2 outs. He takes ball 1. Ohtani at 23 pitches in this half inning. Maldonado reached base after being hit by a pitch last inning. That one misses, counts 2-0. Maldonado's the number 8 hitter, and the batter that led off this inning was Jose Altuve, and he's the number 2 hitter on the team. 2-0 pitch. Popped into the air. There's Jason Castro. He'll make the catch. And that ends the 3rd inning. Meanwhile, Alex Bregman has extended the Astros' lead with this 2-run home run he hit in the bottom of the 3rd. Moving into the 4th, it's the Astros 4 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Angels. Anthony Rendon, Justin Upton, and Albert Pujols. On the ground against the shift, Gurriel plays it. Flips to Greinke covering first, and that's out number 1. So Rendon's out on 1 pitch, and that'll bring up cleanup hitter Justin Upton. Don't forget, you are watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. This game brought to you by MLB The Show 20. If you're looking for more information on this league, go ahead to the Twitter page that we have, @VirtualMLB is our tag. You can find news on injuries, trade updates, and you can find highlight videos, as well as the game recaps and standing updates that are posted about all 30 teams, just giving you an update on all of Major League Baseball. That's served into right center. That's a base hit for Justin Upton. But check out news on this league on the Twitter page, @VirtualMLB. Hit the follow button if you want updates being sent to your phone, and then check out our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for announcements on when games will be broadcasted live, as well as when the posting of highlights and standing updates are posted. So check that all out. MLB Virtual Network on YouTube and @VirtualMLB on Twitter. 0-1 pitch coming from Zach Greinke to Albert Pujols. That fouled off, counts 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch coming. That pitch misses low, counts 1-2. That pitch misses inside, counts even 2-2. So last season, the Astros had one of the most pristine rotations in all of baseball. Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Zach Greinke. And the Astros had acquired Zach Greinke in a trade with the Diamondbacks last season. Ground ball left side, played by Correa, throws to Altuve for one. Altuve takes his time. Pujols not a good runner. He's thrown out, grounds into a double play that ends the top of the fourth inning. No runs on a hit for the Angels, but that erased on the double play. Moving to the bottom of the fourth, it's the Astros 4 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. We're at Minute Maid Park, home of the Houston Astros. Astros coming to bat, up by 3 runs, and it's 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Stros. Kyle Tucker, then George Springer, and Jose Altuve. First pitch. That's outside, ball 1. Both of these teams are representing an alternative jersey that they both have in today's game. The Angels, their standard alternate red jerseys, and the Astros showing off a jersey design that was popular with them in the late 70s and early 80s, but it has a touch of modernized style to it. It has that Astros blue in there with different shades of red, yellow, and orange on the sides. Kyle Tucker ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. That's a strike, counts even 2-2. Strike 3 called, well placed there by Shohei Ohtani. Kyle Tucker down on strikes. Ohtani has 4 strikeouts now on his score line, and that's out number 1. The Astros have scored 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. Got a 2-run home run by Yordan Alvarez in the bottom of the second, and then got a 2-run home run by Alex Bregman in the bottom of the third. Now here's George Springer with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. He's 0 for 2. In the series now, he's 2 for 11. Hasn't contributed much on offense. See, their last season was a Silver Slugger Award winner for outfielders in the American League. This is the rubber match of a 3-game series. The Astros won Game 1 on Friday. The Angels won Game 2 yesterday. And what was supposed to be a premier pitching matchup has turned into early offense. It's Ohtani against Greinke, and they're both still pitching. But they've each given up early runs. Springer strikes out there. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Ohtani. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. But Greinke immediately let up a run in the 1st inning. Anthony Rendon hit a home run in the 1st inning, and then the Astros got 2-run home runs in back-to-back innings. So that's how it's 4-1. Now 2 outs. Here's Jose Altuve. He's 1 for 2. 5 for 13 this series. 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Did well when these two faced each other for the first time here at Minute Maid Park. These two had a 4-game series here in Houston. The Astros won that series. Since then, the Angels have gotten a bit hotter. They started the year off slow, and I'm talking in the first week or 2. They weren't performing at their best, but have turned a relatively slow start into a 9-11 record and find themselves 2 games out of the division lead. And the Astros are the team that leads the division. Talked about this before. The Astros 11-9, the Angels 9-11. And everybody in between is somewhere in that range. Ohtani strikes out the side in the bottom of the 4th inning. Going to the 5th, it's the Astros 4 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and there's Heidi Watney in the Astros dugout. Love to know what she's saying, but We will never know what she's saying unless the other crew is here.
The designated hitter, Matt Thaiss.
Anyhow, 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the Angels. Matt Thaiss, Brian Goodwin, and Andrelton Simmons all due up to bat. But to go into more depth on how the standings are working out for both of these AL West teams, this division is tight. We talked about this earlier in the game, but just to go over it again, the Astros 11-9, they're in first place. The Angels 9-11, they're in fifth place, which means that everybody in between is somewhere in between 11-9 and 9-11. And this game is pivotal. If the Astros could come out with a win, they'll remain on top of the AL West. But if the Angels can win, the AL West will be shaken up. The Angels might turn into a middle team with a 10-11 record, and the Astros might get caught by either the Athletics or the Rangers. The Athletics are in second place with an 11-11 record. The Rangers are in third place with a 10-11 record, and the Mariners are in fourth with a 10-12 record. Close all around. Matt Thaiss strikes out there. Greinke now has 5 strikeouts, and he just matched Shohei Ohtani's total. That's out number 1. And that makes me think, too, these two aren't lighting up strikeouts very much. Balls have been put in play more often than not. And each pitcher has let up at least 1 run. Ohtani not on the better side of that. He's given up 4 earned runs in his start so far. And each pitcher has now passed 60 pitches. Coming into inning 5. There's Brian Goodwin. He's 0 for 1 and counts 2-1 on him now. Goodwin, former Washington National, played center field with them, but it had become a crowded outfield in Washington with Victor Robles coming up, Michael Taylor, Adam Eaton, back then Bryce Harper and Juan Soto, all depth for the Nationals, and they decided not to hold on to Brian Goodwin anymore, and found himself now with the Angels. 2-2 pitch. Softly hit against the shift. Hugging the line, and that stays fair and hops over the wall. Automatic double for Brian Goodwin. Kept the pitch fair long enough and then secured himself a hit with that ball going over, or going out of bounds, so to speak. Now a runner in scoring position. Here's Andrelton Simmons. Simmons 0 for 1, grounded out in the second inning. Chased that pitch, but managed to get his bat on it. Counts 0-2. Simmons, a .217 hitter with runners in scoring position this season. The Houston Astros up 4-1 here in the top of the 5th. Counts 1-2 on Andrelton Simmons. Speaking of how close the AL West is now, the AL West has had some tight races over the last decade as Simmons strikes out there.
The batter, the catcher, Jason.
But every team in the American League West had won the division at least twice in the 2010 decade. Every team but one. And it was the Mariners. The Mariners haven't won the division or even made playoffs in the longest time, but the Rangers won the division in 2010 and 11. The Athletics won in 2012 and 13. The Angels won it in 2014. The Rangers won it in 2015 and 16, and then the Astros AL West champions from 2017 to 2019. So it's been a competitive AL West over the years, and success between all these teams has been distributed evenly, at least among 4 teams that have won the division. Of course, the Mariners are still trying to figure things out with their organization. Zach Greinke just hit Jason Castro, and that puts another runner on base, and we're still in the middle part of this game. The tying run comes to the plate for the Angels. Top of the order hitter Tommy La Stella is 0 for 2. First pitch to him. Fouled off. That's strike 1. La Stella, 3 home runs and 7 RBIs for him on the season. More of somebody who gets on base rather than is known as a run producer, and can't get the job done here. Grounds to Gurriel, flips to Greinke covering first, and Greinke works out of a tiny jam he put himself in the top of the 5th inning. No runs given up in that half inning. Moving to the bottom of the 5th, it's the Astros 4 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Astros, and Michael Brantley starting off this sequence of hitters in the bottom of the 5th inning. He's doing well so far in this 3-game series. He's now 6 for 12, 2 home runs and 3 RBIs for him. Facing Shohei Ohtani for the 3rd time in this game, and takes ball 1. Still pitchers warming up in the bullpen for the Angels. Ohtani working upwards now of 80 pitches. And starts Brantley off with the ball. Here's the 1-0. On the ground, up the middle, Andrelton Simmons plays it. Throws to Pujols, and Brantley out. That's the first out of the bottom of the 5th inning.
Third baseman number 2, Alex Bregman.
And with 1 out, that'll bring up Alex Bregman. He's 1 for 2, but that 1 hit extended the Astros' lead. 2-run home run he hit in the 3rd inning. Made it 4-1, and that's the last time either team scored. No Ramirez, Taylor, Cole in the bullpen for the Angels now. Both right-handed pitchers. One-zero pitch from Ohtani. Bregman was out in front of that, and he just fouls it off. Counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. One from Ohtani, who just passed 80 pitches. And Bregman's aboard for the 2nd time. He has 2 hits now in this game.
Now batting, first baseman.
So this is entering play. Hit leaders on the Astros. Brantley now has 27 if you count the double he had earlier. And Bregman is now the team leader in hits for the Astros with 28. Here's Yuli Gurriel. Gurriel's been on base twice in this game. He walked back in the 2nd inning. He singled in his last at-bat. Bregman on first base. And that pitch right down the middle. Strike 1. Nothing in 1 pitch. Swing and a miss.
No ball, 2 strikes.
It was an off-speed pitch Ohtani threw, and Gurriel looked fooled. He's quickly down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. On the ground left side, that stays inside the 3rd base bag, and that rolls toward the corner. Upton plays it, throws it in to Rendon covering 3rd, but Bregman slides in safely. Gurriel now has 2 hits, and that one advances Bregman from 1st to 3rd base, still 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And here comes Joe Madden out of the dugout. Ohtani doesn't make it to 90 pitches and does not pitch out of the 5th inning. So far, he has 4 earned runs on his line score, and the 2 runners on base are his responsibility.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
And out of the bullpen comes Matt Andriese.
Number 35, Matt Andriese.
Andriese started the year in the Angels rotation. He's since been moved to the bullpen in a long relief role, and these are the type of games he typically comes into, where he's needed to be used for 2 to 3 innings. And his job is to get outs and keep his team in the game. Yordan Alvarez is 1 for 1, and that one hit he has was a home run. Back in the 2nd inning, Rendon can't make the play. Bregman will score from 3rd base. Advancing from 1st to 2nd is Yuli Gurriel.
Shortstop, Carlos Correa.
And that's going to be scored a base hit for Yordan Alvarez, though Anthony Rendon got his glove on it. Not that I'm saying that the fact that it touched his glove makes that an automatic error, but a play that was borderline routine was not made by Rendon. So Yordan Alvarez has an RBI now. That's his 3rd RBI of the game. And now there's an 0-1 count on Carlos Correa. It's 5-1 now. The Astros lead it. And Correa takes strike 2 from Matt Andriese. And with Bregman scoring from 3rd, on that last play, Ohtani has now given up 5 earned runs, and the last runner that's his responsibility is on 2nd base in the form of Yuli Gurriel. 1-2 count on Correa. The Astros have now scored in 3 of the 5 innings played. Scored in the 2nd, the 3rd, and now here in the 5th. And this inning not quite over yet. 1-2 pitch on the Astros shortstop coming. Hit in the air and foul. Counts still 1-2. This is an AL West matchup between the top team in the AL West and the bottom team. Astros at the top right now, 11-9 record. The Angels on the opposite end of the division with the exact opposite record, 9-11. 2-2 now on Carlos Correa. On the ground right side, Pujols plays, throws to Simmons for 1. Andriese covering first. And that's in time. Carlos Correa grounds into a double play, and that ends the 5th inning. However, the Astros get a run in that half inning and extend their lead now 5-1 moving into the 6th. And here's a dangerous part of the Angels' order coming up to the plate. It's 2, 3, 4 hitters. Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, and Justin Upton, all scheduled to bat in that order. Trout now batting .356, despite being 0 for 2 tonight. And he has 8 home runs and 23 RBIs.
Outside, that's the ball.
Tied for 2nd in the American League with 8 home runs to this point. And speaking of category leaders, MLB's Virtual Network will start posting those
2 balls, no strikes.
sometime next week. So not this week, but next Sunday will very well be the first time that you get to see category leaders, and that will be in the game results and standing update videos. So stay tuned for that. You get to see who's leading the leagues in the different categories. That ball hit into right center field. George Springer goes back. And, excuse me, that's Kyle Tucker making the play. He was shifted there. Anyway, that's out number 1 here on the top of the 6th. Anthony Rendon coming to the plate. And Mike Trout, who had a couple home runs and 5 runs batted in yesterday's game, is now 0 for 3. And here's Anthony Rendon. Rendon 1 for 2, now batting .314 on the year. He had a home run off Greinke in the 1st inning. 89 from Greinke. That's a strike. Greinke throwing with significantly less velocity than Ohtani, but Greinke spotting his pitches well enough to get outs, and that's something Ohtani could not do. Ohtani's official score line, he went 4 1/3 innings, and he gave up 5 earned runs. 0-2 from Greinke. On the ground left side, right into the shift. Bregman plays. Throws to Gurriel, and Rendon's out. That's the second out here in the top of the 6th inning. The Angels have only scored 1 run, and that was when Rendon went deep off Greinke in the 1st inning. The Astros scored 2 runs in the 2nd, 2 runs in the 3rd, and scored a run in the bottom of the 5th inning. And they now lead 5-1. 2 outs, top of the 6th. There's Justin Upton, who swings it, hits that pitch high to left field. Brantley appears to have a play, and he does make the catch. Top of the 6th inning is over. No runs on, no hits, and nobody left on for the Angels. Moving to the bottom of the 6th, it's the Astros 5 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 8-9 hitters due up for the Astros. Martin Maldonado, Kyle Tucker, and then the order recycles back to George Springer at the top. He's due up 3rd in this half inning. 0-1 pitch tapped on the ground up the middle. Estella has a play. And he throws to Pujols. That's out number 1. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Kyle Tucker. Tucker is 0 for 1. He walked in the 2nd inning. That's the only time he reached base. Tucker on the season has 13 hits in 58 at-bats. He's played more often than not this season just because there are statistically more right-handed starters in Major League Baseball than left-handed starters. And he usually starts in the outfield whenever a righty's on the mound. He's platooning with Josh Reddick and Miles Straw. Josh Reddick comes in here and there to play the outfield defensively. Tucker more of the offensive option. Reddick not a poor hitter, but the Astros having more faith in Kyle Tucker's bat here in 2020. But it's Tucker, Miles Straw, and Josh Reddick right now, the platoon outfielders. Bobbled by Pujols. He recovers, but not in enough time. And Kyle Tucker reaches. The scorer's decision is a base hit. That'll bring up the top of the order, George Springer. But Miles Straw typically only starts when a lefty's on the mound because he's a right-handed hitter, so the Astros play matchup with those guys. Both of these teams also under new management to start 2020. Mike Scioscia was the manager of the Angels for nearly 20 years. And the Angels decided to let him go and move on. That played by Andres. Throws to Simmons for 1. Back to Pujols. That's not in time. Springer safe at first. Kyle Tucker forced out at 2nd. And now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. But Mike Scioscia was let go as Angels manager. Led them to a World Series in 2002. They were division leaders and the best team in baseball in 2014, though they got swept by the Kansas City Royals, who were the wild card team that year. And then the Astros under new management as well. Joe Madden now the manager of the Angels, but the Astros have Dusty Baker as manager, and the baseball world was shocked by the Astros scandal that broke out. A.J. Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow were suspended for a year and subsequently fired by the Astros, so the Astros are now being managed on the field by Dusty Baker. 1-2 pitch. That misses, counts even at 2. Dusty Baker's been around so long. He managed the San Francisco Giants team that lost to Mike Scioscia's Angels in 2002. Dusty Baker had managed the Giants, also the Cincinnati Reds and the Washington Nationals.
Nope, that's ball four.
And a 2-out walk issued to Jose Altuve by Matt Andriese. That moves George Springer to second base. And now with 2 outs, here comes the number 3 hitter for the Astros, Michael Brantley. Brantley is 1 for 3. He doubled and later scored on the Alex Bregman home run back in the 3rd inning. Takes strike 1, 93 miles per hour. The velocity of that last pitch thrown by Matt Andriese. Here's the 0-1. That can't find the zone. Counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. Strike 2, breaking ball thrown over the heart of the plate. Count 1 and 2. This is game 3 of a 3-game series. It's a rubber match. The Astros won on Friday and the Angels won yesterday. Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Michael Brantley. Springer on second, Altuve on first. Here's the pitch. That's outside. Count run full 3 and 2, and the Astros get more of an advantage here. The runner should be off on the pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And they're both forced. 3-2, here it is. That can't find the zone. Ball 4. And the bases are loaded. And a hot hitter in this game, Alex Bregman, is coming to the plate. Bregman, who went 0 for 3 with a couple walks yesterday, is now 2 for 3. And one of his hits was a home run. It was a 2-run home run. They made it 4-1 at the time back in the 3rd inning. The Astros tacked on another run in the 5th inning to make it 5-1, count 1 and 1. Bregman facing Andriese for the first time in this game, at least. And that fouled off, counts 1 and 2. Andriese at 34 pitches. He came in with 1 out last inning. 1 run scored on his watch, though it wasn't added to his line score. It was the responsibility of Ohtani. But worked himself into a jam here in this half inning. 2-2 count. That misses, and the count run full. All runners will be running again on the pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and all the runners forced. Ground ball right side. Pujols comes up with that cleanly. Steps on first base. Bregman out. That ends the potential Astros threat. No runs scored despite the bases being loaded. Moving to the 7th inning, it's the Astros 5 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. The Astros lead the Angels 5-1, and Albert Pujols will lead off this inning for the Angels. It's 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Halos. Albert Pujols, Matt Thaiss, and Brian Goodwin all scheduled to bat. This is game 3 of a 3-game series, the rubber match of this 3-game series. The Astros won on Friday and the Angels won yesterday. The Angels, after this game today, will go back home and will play the Baltimore Orioles in a 3-game series Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Angels won't have an off day until next Monday, April the 27th. And as for the Astros will have a home stretch following this game. They'll have a 4-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and then we'll have a 3-game weekend series against AL West rivals, the Oakland Athletics, before having an off day of their own on that Monday, April the 27th, and then they'll go on a road trip. That popped into the air, played by George Springer. 1 out. So the Angels will be starting their own home stretch.
Up next for the Angels.
A 7-game home stretch before having a travel day, and that's same for the Astros. The Astros have had a longer stretch. They are in the middle of a 9-game home stretch that will end next week against the Athletics, April the 26th. They'll have a travel day on the 27th, and then they'll have a road trip to go on. That is the road ahead for both teams. So anyway, Pujols flew out to center field to start this inning. Now Matt Thaiss in a 1-0 count. He walked in his first plate appearance and has since gone 0 for 1. Greinke, who gave up a run in the first inning, has since been strong and nearly lights out. He's given up a couple hits here and there throughout the game, but definitely found a groove after that first inning. Gave up the home run to Anthony Rendon and has since pitched shutout baseball. Counts 2-2. Ohtani, however, the same thing could not be said for him, as Thaiss strikes out. Ohtani has been charged with all 5 runs. Greinke now with 7 strikeouts, and
The right fielder, number 18.
Ohtani only made it 4 1/3 innings pitched, and gave up 5 earned runs. Gave up a couple 2-run home runs that are extra bad blemishes on his scoreline. And he had a rough outing. One-oh count on Brian Goodwin. Hit in the air toward left center field. Springer trying to track it, and he does. He makes the catch, and that ends the top of the 7th. It's stretch time here at Minute Maid Park, and root for the home team because they're winning 5-1.
Your attention, please.
Matt Andriese is done for the day. Taylor Cole comes in to replace him. Cole in 5 games has a 1-0 record and a 5.79 ERA. And he'll face the 5-6-7 hitters for the Astros in this half inning. Yulieski Gurriel, Yordan Alvarez, and Carlos Correa. They're all scheduled to bat. First pitch from Taylor Cole. That's fouled off. The count's 0-1. So Matt Andriese went 1 2/3 innings. He got the Angels out of the 4th inning and also pitched a scoreless 5th despite the Astros getting the bases loaded. As Simmons makes that play, that's out number 1. Gurriel forced out at first.
The batter, number 44. Designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez.
Andriese did technically give up a run in the 5th inning, and we'll go over that after we watch this. Yordan Alvarez, this was a 2-run home run he hit back in the 2nd inning, and ever since that, the Astros have had the lead in this game. Of course, they've tacked on some more runs since that, but the Astros have had the lead ever since the bottom of the 2nd inning. No Ramirez and Keenan Middleton in the bullpen. But Matt Andriese did technically let a run score in the 5th inning when he pitched, but the run was the responsibility of Shohei Ohtani, who had let that runner on base. So all 5 of those runs scored by the Astros are tallied to Ohtani's scoreline. So Andriese officially gave up no runs in his time out of the bullpen. Now Taylor Cole starting fresh out of the bullpen to start the 7th. Got Gurriel to ground out to shortstop, and now in a dangerous count against Alvarez. 3 balls and a strike. Alvarez 2 for 2 in this game with that home run he hit back in the 2nd inning. He fouls that pitch off, and the count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. That ripped foul down the right field side. And the count remains full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Uh-oh. Oh, not quite. That's going to tail foul. Alvarez has been seeing the ball well today, and just demonstrated by this plate appearance here. He's stuck on some of those pitches Taylor Cole has thrown. And that one was well placed. Jammed him there a bit. Played by Castro. 2 outs.
Now batting, shortstop, Carlos Correa.
And that'll bring up number 7 hitter Carlos Correa. One of the few hitters in this Astros lineup that hasn't reached base at all in today's game. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Strike 1 from Taylor Cole. 0-1 pitch, here it comes. It's too high and in. Counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. Carlos Correa, the shortstop of this team, was drafted in the early 2010s and made his debut with the team in 2014. And he's been known as one of the key pieces, one of the key prospects, one of the key foundational players that have made the Astros so successful in the late 2010s. And he's aboard now. He joins the hit parade with a single here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Now batting, the catcher, Martin Maldonado.
And with 2 outs, runner on first base now. Here's Martin Maldonado. Maldonado reached base in his first plate appearance. He was hit by a pitch. And he's ahead in the count 1-0 against Taylor Cole. Facing Taylor Cole for the first time in this game. And Maldonado pops that pitch up. Jason Castro looks to have a play. And he does indeed make the catch. And that ends the 7th inning. The Astros get no runs on a hit and leave 1 runner on base. Moving to the 8th inning, it's the Astros 5 and the Angels 1. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. It's 5-1 Astros coming in now to the 8th inning, and the Angels will send up 8, 9, and 1 hitters to bat in this half inning. It'll be Andrelton Simmons, Jason Castro, and Tommy La Stella. They're all scheduled to bat.
That's a ball.
This is Major League Baseball's virtual network. This game literally brought to you by MLB The Show 20. With do this to the extent that we do it. Also, I'm Nicholas Callis, one of your play-by-play voices here on the network. I also have Matt Vasgersian, Dan Plezak, and Mark DeRosa. They cover for me whenever I can't do these games, so thankful for that. As Simmons serves that pitch into right field, he has a leadoff single for the Angels.
Now batting, catcher.
And with that, Simmons now has an 8-game hitting streak going. And waited till late in the game, but fortunate enough to extend that. And a respectable number now. Here's Jason Castro, grounded, and a diving stop by Yulieski Gurriel. He flips to Greinke covering first just to get an out on the play, but meanwhile, Simmons moves to second base.
Second base, Tommy.
But anyway, just mentioning Major League Baseball's virtual network, I'm Nicholas Callis. If you want more news on this league, injury updates, trade updates, game recaps, and standing updates following every day, you can go to the Twitter page at VirtualMLB, and you can check all the news that goes on related to this league. And also, if you're looking for the live streams, you're looking for schedules of the live streams, and you're looking for archived videos, you can check out the YouTube channel, MLB Virtual Network. Again, the Twitter page, the tag is @virtualMLB, and the YouTube channel is MLB Virtual Network. Check them both out. Subscribe and follow if you're interested in following a baseball league while we don't have baseball because of the nasty coronavirus. 1-1 pitch to Tom. LaStella 0 for 3 in this game and has faced Zach Greinke now for the 4th time, and he strikes out there. Maldonado throws to Gurriel. That completes the strikeout of LaStella. That's 8 now for Greinke. 2 outs, top of the 8th, and here's the starter comparison. And Greinke is not done yet. He's still pitching. Those numbers for Ohtani are finalized, and he gave up 5 earned runs on 7 hits. And Ohtani right now in line for the loss. Mike Trout coming up to the plate now. Two outs, Simmons in scoring position at second base. And here's the first pitch to Trout. Up the middle, that'll get through the infield, base hit. Springer charging on the ball, Simmons being waved home. Simmons will score, the ball cut off by Gurriel, but the cut to second is too late, and Mike Trout is aboard at second with an RBI double. And following a 5 RBI performance in yesterday's game, he now tallies one here in Game 3. And here comes Dusty Baker. And Greinke, with a very respectable performance in this game, has given up 2 earned runs. Trout still his responsibility on second, but rebounded from giving up that home run in the first inning and has given the Astros an opportunity to win this ball game. And here comes one of the hottest closers in baseball right now, Roberto Osuna. Has appeared in 8 games, 7 of which he's had an opportunity to save the game. And he has been perfect so far this season. 7 saves and 7 opportunities. And right now he is in a save situation, especially if he comes out for the 9th inning. But his ERA is 1.13 right now in the season. He has been lights out early in 2020. Faces Anthony Rendon. 1 ball, no strike pitch. That's too high, counts 2-0. Rendon batting .458 with runners in scoring position this season. 1 for 3 in this game, and his lone hit was that home run he had back in the first inning. And up until this inning, that was the only run that the Angels were able to score. Mike Trout just doubled home Andrelton Simmons. And that made it 5-2. The Astros still up by 3 runs. 2-1 pitch. That finds the zone. Counts even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. These two have played each other in close games. The Angels ended up coming back yesterday, scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th to win 5-4. In Game 1 on Friday, the final score was 9-8, and the Astros won that one. This has been a very intriguing and a very balanced series. And this is the rubber match. 3-2 pitch. On the ground left side, that's foul. And the count's still full 3-2. And that doesn't find the zone. And Dusty Baker and Roberto Osuna not incredibly thrilled with that call. It was close to the top of the zone, but the home plate umpire dictates all. And with that being ruled a ball, Rendon is on first with a walk. Trout still on second base. Still 2 outs in the top of the 8th here, but the tying run gets to come to the plate. It's Justin Upton. Upton singled earlier in this game. He's 1 for 3. And takes ball 1. Upton not as successful as some of his other teammates with runners in scoring position. Batting .176. with runners at either second or third base, or both. 2-0 is the count on him now. Ozuna trying to locate what is well known as his slurve, but hasn't been able to do that in the last 2 at-bats.
Ball 3.
That can't find the zone either, and Upton well ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes. Albert Pujols is on deck and would bat next if Upton can reach base. 3-0.
That pitch is up.
That's too high. Ball 4. So Trout doubled
The first baseman, number 5.
in Andrelton Simmons with 2 outs. That chased Greinke from the game. And Roberto Ozuna, since coming in, has issued 2 walks. Hasn't recorded an out yet. Bases loaded. The tying run is now at first base in the form of Justin Upton. And here's Albert Pujols. That can't find the zone. That's ball 1. Pujols, 214 hitter with runners in scoring position. It's Trout on third base. Rendon on second. And Upton on first. 1 run in the inning. Trout is Zach Greinke's responsibility. The other 2 runners would start Roberto Ozuna's scoreline. 1-1 count. Chopped foul. Counts 1-2. Minute Maid Park backing Ozuna up. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And that threat by the Angels is thwarted by Roberto Ozuna. Despite walking 2 and loading the bases, the Angels fail to score any more runs. They do, however, get a run on this Mike Trout RBI double going to the bottom of the 8th. It's now 5-2. The Astros still lead. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Kyle Tucker to lead off for the Astros. 9-1-2 due up. It'll be Tucker, then George Springer, and Jose Altuve. Taylor Cole pitching into his 2nd inning now. He came in to start the 7th, pitched a scoreless inning, and now here for the 8th. The Angels scored a run in the top half of this inning and made it 5-2. Made it a little bit closer. Pujols makes that play all by himself, and that's 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. And the top of the order for the Astros resurfaces. Here comes George Springer. Springer 0 for 4 in this game. And he now is the only player on the Astros that has yet to reach base. One of 2 players that doesn't have a hit in the Astros lineup.
1-1.
1-1's the count. Taylor Cole's pitch, here it is. Pitch misses outside, the count's 2-1. This is a pivotal game for the AL West's perspective. The Astros are in first place with an 11-9 record, and the Angels are in 5th with a 9-11 record. As Springer rips that pitch down the left field line, and now he has joined the hit parade the Astros have been on. Base hit. Upton plays it, throws it into Simmons, and Simmons cuts it off.
Now back, second baseman.
So now everybody but Martin Maldonado has a hit in this game, but every Astros hitter has reached base one way or another in this game. Here comes Jose Altuve. He's 1 for 3. Got a hit in the first inning and has since gone hitless. On the ground, there's Simmons to play it. Throws to Pujols. That's out number 2. Springer elects to stay at second base. And now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. But if the Astros can hold on to the lead, the Astros would move up to 12-9, and they would not be able to be caught by any of the other teams in the division. The Athletics have an 11-11 record, the Rangers 10-11, and the Mariners 10-12. Remember, the Angels are 9-11. So if the Angels lost today, they'd move securely into a last place spot with a 9-12 record. That hit into left field. Upton plays it quickly and throws off line, but Springer stayed at third anyway, and that's a single for Michael Brantley. That puts runners at first and third with 2 outs. If the Angels were able to come back, that would stall the Astros out. That would move them to 11-10, and that would give the Athletics or the Rangers an opportunity to catch up to the Astros, and the Angels would move out of a definitive last place spot with a 10-11 record. So this game directly affects every AL West team in a meaningful manner early in this season. But the Astros with a sizable lead and an opportunity to tack on more runs in the 8th. Alex Bregman at the plate, and he fouls that pitch off. Bregman has a couple hits in this game. He's 2 for 4. One of those hits was a 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning. Hit down the right field line, and that's foul. Well struck, but not in play. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Taylor Cole has pitched 1 2/3 innings now, hasn't given up a run yet. On the ground right side, and LaStella can't make the play. That'll get into right field, base hit. Goodwin gets it in quickly. Springer scores from third base. Brantley moves to second, and at first with an RBI single is Alex Bregman. It's now 6-2. The Astros up by 4. And that ball jammed him as well. Wasn't well struck off the bat, but it was hit hardly enough and in just the right spot to get past LaStella at second. Base hit for Bregman, his 3rd now of the game, and that hit chases Taylor Cole from the ball game. Here's No Ramirez coming in. An ERA of 3.38, doesn't have a record yet. He's pitched in 13 games.
Off the plate, ball 1.
As of now, Zach Greinke is in line for the win, despite giving up a couple runs in his outing. Shohei Ohtani is in position to get the loss. He gave up 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings pitched. Greinke went 7 2/3 innings, but couldn't pitch out of the 8th. And Roberto Osuna, despite getting into some trouble, got out of the top of the 8th inning without letting up a run. And now the Astros have scored a run in the bottom of the 8th inning here. And still in position to score with 2 outs. Gurriel at the plate, 2 runners on base. That finds the zone, counts even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Michael Brantley on second base, Alex Bregman is on first. Here comes the pitch. That can't find the zone, and the Counts run full 3-2 now. And the Astros with a slight advantage. Both runners on base should be attempting to steal on the pitch. Both runners go. Called strike 3 at the bottom of the zone. And a clutch pitch there from No Ramirez. The deficit remains at 4 going into the 9th inning. The Angels trail the Astros 6-2. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for the Angels. Matt Thaiss, Brian Goodwin, and Andrelton Simmons all due up to bat. Roberto Osuna still pitching. He came out of the bullpen with 2 outs in the 8th and prevented the Angels from scoring any further. And now comes out in the 9th inning to try to close this game out. Falls behind Thaiss, 2-1. The Angels got the bases loaded against Ozuna with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, but failed to score on him. Ozuna let up a couple walks that led to the bases being loaded. Even count 2-2 on Thaiss here. Here's the pitch. Got him to chase it. A well-placed breaking ball, and Theis is the first out of the top of the 9th inning. And there's Zach Greinke's official scoreline. 7 2/3 innings. Gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits. Had 8 strikeouts, and he's in line for the win. 106 pitches. And despite giving up the home run to Anthony Rendon in the first inning, he buckled down and gave his team a quality start. Bregman shifted, throws to Gurriel. Goodwin is out on 1 pitch. And now there are 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. So again, Zach Greinke is in line for the win, and Shohei Ohtani is in line for the loss. Should the Astros close this game out, they'll improve to 12-9 and remain at the top of the AL West. The Angels with a loss would fall to 9-12. And would remain in last place in the division.
Off the plate, ball 2.
2 balls, no strikes on Andrelton Simmons. He's 1 for 3. He hit a double last inning and then scored on the Mike Trout RBI double. 2-0 pitch from Ozuna. That's a strike, counts 2-1. 98 miles per hour from Roberto Ozuna. Former Toronto Blue Jays Ozuna was traded to the Astros in 2018. He was involved in a deal that sent Ken Giles from the Astros to the Blue Jays. And those two, both being closing pitchers, just kept their same role, just with a different team. Ozuna assumed the closer's role here in Houston, and Ken Giles became the closer in Toronto. 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. Down the right side and foul. So Simmons keeping this game alive. 2-2 pitch coming again. That can't find the zone. Counts full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jason Castro's on deck. The Angels still far from getting the tying run to come to the plate. But the at-bat and the game being extended here by Simmons. Full count pitch. And he fouls that one off as well. And Ozuna about to throw his 30th pitch of the outing. Swing and a miss, off speed pitch. Fooled Simmons, and this ball game has concluded. The Houston Astros beat the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim 6-2 and improve to 12-9 and remain at the top of the AL West. The Angels fall to 9-12 on the year and remain in last place in the AL West. The Astros have won 2 of 3 games in this series. They won on Friday, lost on Saturday, and then won here on Sunday. And stay atop of the AL West. There's Roberto Ozuna. He closed out the ballgame on the mound for his team. And there are your decisions for pitchers. Zach Greinke, 7 2/3 innings. Gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, struck out 8, and he earned the win. Only walked 1 batter as well. Quality start for him. Shohei Ohtani went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 5 earned runs on 7 hits, and despite striking out 6, he got hit with the loss, gave up a substantial amount of runs for his standards. And Roberto Ozuna came in the bottom of the 8th inning, got the final out of the 8th, and came in and recorded 3 straight outs in the 9th. He earned the save for this game. Alex Bregman had a 2-run home run, had 3 RBIs total in this one, and he is the player of the game for the Astros in their win. Just looking again at the road ahead for both of these teams. For the Angels will go back to Los Angeles and will start a 9-game or a 7-game homestand. We'll play a 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles and then a 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox before getting a travel day next Monday and then starting a road series. The Astros just finished the first series on their homestand. 3 games here against the Angels. They'll have 7 more games here at home. 4 games against the Rays and then 3 games against the Oakland Athletics before getting a travel day of their own on the 27th. That's next Monday. And then they'll start. They will start some series on the road. Their road trip, they'll start. But anyways, once again, the final score, the Astros 6 and the Angels 2. The Angels got a run in the first inning on an Anthony Rendon home run. That made it 1-0. Then Houston answered almost immediately when Yordan Alvarez hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the second. And the following inning, Alex Bregman had a 2-run home run. That made it 4-1 at the time. The Astros scored again in the 5th and 8th innings, answered a run scored by the Angels on a Mike Trout double. They made it 5-2 at the time, but again, the Astros responded with an Alex Bregman RBI single in the bottom of the 8th, got that run right back, made it a 4-run deficit again, and that's how this game has shaped up to fall to that score. Houston 6 at Los Angeles 2. Houston 6 runs on 13 hits. Los Angeles 2 runs on 5 hits. Well, that's it for me. I'm Nicholas Callis saying so long from Minute Maid Park. This game was brought to you by MLB The Show 20. You've been watching Major League Baseball's virtual network.